UCLA and USC are going to join the Big Ten. I went to UCLA. A lot of people like college football. It's probably the second most popular sport in America after NFL. What do you think of this?
Well, okay. I think it's grotesque. I think it's grotesque that SC and UCLA, especially UCLA, are joining the Big Ten and leaving the Pac, whatever number it is, 12. UCLA is a public school.
Yeah.
I pay for them out of my taxes.
Yeah.
You pay for them, Maddie. And plus, I paid a hell of a lot of tuition to them when you went there. Can you imagine Berkeley joining the Big Ten or Stanford joining the Big Ten? But it's beyond that. I went to Stanford 1966 and 1972. I was there a long time because I was in the English department. I got a master's and a doctorate there in English. I supported myself by teaching freshman English, comparative literature, and writing. I have a long history with Stanford. When I went there, it was the Pac-8. You're young, a lot of you who are watching. It was the Pac-8, and it was all the Pacific schools, the Washington, Oregon, Bay Area, and LA schools. It was a logical conference. It was logical. Then they added the Arizona schools. Now, they're good schools. I have nothing against the Arizona schools. Pac-10? They're not on the Pacific Coast.
No, they're not.
How did that happen?
No.
And then they got these two other schools, I don't even know what they are.
Colorado and Utah.
Who gives a shit? I mean, honestly,
Colorado is on the east side of the Rocky Mountains. They think of themselves as the Midwest.
Yeah.
I was there.
So it makes no sense. Now, I hate college sports.
Me too.
I try to only cover pro sports because pro sports at least are honest about their greed.
Well, college sports are pro sports too. They just don't. They're
dishonest. They're as greedy as the pros, but they pretend they're not.
Right.
And that hypocrisy always made me want to puke, Iggy. Yes. I got to tell you, made me want to puke. I consider college. Now, I know you think I'm wrong, and I'm wrong because I'm against history. I consider college sports as an extracurricular activity at a college. When I went to Lafayette, we had a football and a basketball team, but they weren't scholarship athletes. They played. Now they are, unfortunately. It's a Patriot Conference.
Yeah.
I don't think Stanford has any business paying David Shaw $9 million. I know Stanford doesn't pay that, but its total compensation, from what I understand, from all sources is $9 million. The head of the English department doesn't make $9 million. Who's he? I think what's happened with college football and basketball is grotesque.
You're supposed to be an academic institution, not a professional sports institution.
Some of these schools in the SEC, Iggy, I mean,
they're professional sports institutions with an adjunct school attached.
With the school attached.
Yeah.
I am really against it.
Yep.
It's become professional. Now, they say they're paying athletes for their images and stuff. Well, the way it's worked, sure, they should pay them, of course, but it never should have come to that. It never should have come to that.
Because every fix is just making it more like professional sports. So now UCLA is going to play games against Rutgers every year. So they're gonna be flying to Iowa and Rutgers and that's professional sports. At what point are they just going to combine the Big Ten, the SEC, and all these different conferences, and it's going to be one conference that's going to be called professional football for younger people? The thing that kills me is I don't like college football or college basketball, college sports, because it is professional, but also it's inferior. They're not as good. They're younger. They're not that good. And it's kind of boring to watch. So the reason I watch it at all is because I went to UCLA. So you get the rah-rah stuff. I went there. When they're in the March Madness, I'll watch it. Also, regional rivalries. I live in the Bay Area. They play down there. When they come up and play Stanford, I went this year. It was a lot of fun. Or when they play Cal, I'll go. My wife went to UCLA. She likes to go for the rivalry and the rah-rah stuff. Once they're playing Iowa and Rutgers, like, who gives a shit? Especially if UCLA isn't even good. I think what you're going to see is less and less people going to the games. I think it's all about capitalizing on the Big Ten's TV deal. But once you lose the rivalries and UCLA is just a bad football team every year, I think people are going to stop giving a shit.
Yeah, and again, TV deal. What does that have to do with college sports?
Yeah.
People say, well, football supports the others. Well, football doesn't need to be that big. It doesn't need to be. Iggy, is Penn State in the Big Ten?
I don't know. They might be independent.
Yeah.
I forget.
I don't even know.
Who cares? Who cares? It's college football. Only reason I watch college football is because I have to prepare for the draft every year. So I watch it like after the fact on YouTube. I don't want to watch that stuff. I got better things to do with my Saturdays than watch 19-year-olds play football mediocrely.
I'm with you.
You know?
I'm with you. So
Yeah.
the idea that, again, forget USC. By the way, it's a very good institution. It used to not be, but it is now. But I'm talking about a public school. This public school that I'm paying for, it should be playing Michigan. They play Michigan, right?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Wisconsin? Oh,
it's outrageous. It is outrageous that Chip Kelly's the highest
paid. Rose Bowl. In the Rose Bowl, you play them.
The idea that Chip Kelly's the highest paid public whatever servant in California is the living end.
Iggy, when he plays some really tough schools in the Big Ten, he's going to get his butt.
Oh.
Can you imagine what Jim Harbaugh is going to do to him?
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's ridiculous, but I do think it's kind of funny. I mean, they're making it less and less like professional sports. Pay the athletes. Merge all the conferences. At what point do they just stop the pretense and be like, okay, it's pro sport? And then why do they have to be? If you're just going to take away all the rivalries and the regionality of stuff, why do the colleges need to be involved? Shouldn't basketball and the NFL just have their own minor leagues that,
of course,
they could have TV deals? I would watch that shit.
They should have minor leagues, absolutely, just like baseball. Because what happens now is Notre Dame, which is a fine academic institution, is a minor league for the NFL. And that's what they've chosen to do?
Right.
Notre Dame?
I don't understand that. It just seems like the NFL should pay for their own developmental league, but they don't. They want it to be it's profitable to have it be attached to these colleges because there's the whole rah-rah stuff. But again, they're killing that. I don't care anymore. I mean, I don't even like college football. I'd watch the UCLA stuff for specific games and specific reasons. No, I'm going to wake up early on a Saturday to watch them play Rutgers and lose? No, not going to happen. Absolutely not. Rutgers.
Why are you picking on Rutgers?
It's as far away from UCLA as I could possibly imagine a school being.
Really? It's
in the same conference?
It's in New
Jersey and UCLA. Like, wow.